Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news video, we're going to talk about backstage heat on another AEW star. After All In, we have a WWE legend potentially returning for Payback. We've got an update on missing wrestlers from this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. And finally, that guy again, CM Punk. There's been a bunch more updates. I'm Andy for WhatCulture Wrestling. This is Mike Raffo, and I'm literally the only person here today. That's why this is one of those DIY kind of rough around the edges news videos that we sometimes do when I'm the only idiot who shows up. It's actually an office closure day. It's totally fine. Anyway, we're going to kick this one off by talking about this guy right here, AR Fox. He has a little bit of backstage heat in AEW stemming from his inability to work at All In. If you remember, it was originally going to be Fox and Swerve Strickland versus Darby Allin and Sting. Fox got removed from that match. He got kicked out of the Mogul Embassy. He was replaced by Christian Cage in the match, which turned out to be a kick-ass match, but I'm sure it would ring kick-ass with Fox in it as well. Anyway, the whole thing was a little bit weird, but Fightful Slides have come through with an update. Now, it should be noted that it was reported around about the time of the swap that Fox couldn't travel to the UK and wrestle. Fightful Select now are reporting that Fox hasn't worked internationally since 2016, and AEW feels he wasn't forthright about his ability to wrestle, or his inability to wrestle, outside of the United States. This is why they changed everything for All In. Fox is well liked in AEW, it's noted here, but there was backstage heat on him for what happened here. AEW as well, it's noted that they debated keeping him in the Mogul Embassy or splitting him off, and ultimately decided to remove him from that stable. And it looks like he's paired up with Darby again, despite turning on him and like almost murdering Nick Wayne in the gym angle they did a few weeks ago. Creatively, it's a bit of a mess, in my opinion. But it sounds like a situation where Mr. Fox perhaps could have avoided this heat had he been a bit more honest about his ability to work internationally. Now, there's no word on why exactly Fox isn't able to work abroad, but this is just kind of a shame, this whole thing, really, because the guy missed out obviously on a massive match in a giant setting with 81,000 people there, and personally I've been an AR Fox guy for years and years and years. When he showed up on Indies, I was always super excited because I knew you get some kind of adrenaline pumping action-packed match. It's one of his era's formative high flyers, and it's been really cool seeing him just kind of bask in AEW and enjoy this time as a national televised wrestler, contracted, all that stuff. That being said, if he couldn't work abroad and AEW felt that he wasn't forthright about that, then he kind of, to an extent, has made this a situation of his own creation. It sucks. It's a shame. I feel bad for him. I mean, the match that we got kicked ass. Creatively, I think this turned out a little bit weird. I'm not sure why they had to remove him from the Mogul Embassy just a couple of weeks after joining. I thought him and Swerve had really good chemistry in that Rampage squash they had a couple of weeks ago. I'm just not sure this is for the best. And it leaves him in a really awkward position storyline-wise when they want to pick something back up with him. I thought he was onto something good. And maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. Either way, let us know down in the comment section below what you think of this whole situation. It just seems really unfortunate to me, and I hope that whatever heat is there can go away soon, because I really like AR Fox, and I want to see him do well. Yeah, cool. Next story, John Cena, Payback, guest host, sort of. WrestleVotes reporting overnight. I'll just read the tweet. Heard rumblings that Payback will have a special guest host this Saturday night, and his name is John Cena. So this, if it happens, would be Cena's first on-camera appearance for WWE since Money in the Bank, where he got into it with Grayson Waller, teased the idea of WrestleMania in the UK, which would be absolutely lovely. Of course, John has a big run of SmackDown days. What is it, 7, 8, 9? A bunch of SmackDown shows he's working coming right up. He's also claimed he's going to be wrestling on the upcoming Superstar Spectacle event in India as well. So that's pretty cool. John hasn't wrestled since WrestleMania, where he had that match with Austin Theory designed to elevate Theory. Was it successful? You decide. Obviously, Cena not doing a lot of admin work at the moment because of the strikes. Solidarity with the striking workers, of course. So it does make sense that he'd maybe show back up in WWE for a while, maybe have a bit more of an extended run than we've come to expect from him in recent years. Maybe they'll use a guest host slot at Payback to set something up for him storyline-wise, maybe putting some young person over. That'd be nice. That'd be a cool thing to do. Or maybe he'll just show up, pop the crowd, say a few catchphrases, announce the attendance and leave. Both of them are totally fine. Either way, John Cena potentially coming to Payback, which is tomorrow. Big weekend of shows. Payback, All Out. Collision, obviously Saturday. Fridays we have Rampage and SmackDown, and then you go straight into Monday and you got Raw. Content never sleeps, and neither does professional wrestling. Let's move away back towards AEW for just a second, and we're going to talk about some of the wrestlers who were absent from this week's episode of Dynamite. Now, we covered this a bit yesterday, myself and Michael Hamflet. But yeah, as Tony Khan said before the show, they had to rewrite a bunch of things, change a few plans, because several wrestlers couldn't make it to Dynamite as a result of sickness, travel issues, and of course the hurricane in the US causing problems at the moment as well. And hope anyone who might be impacted by that is staying safe, because it's pretty terrifying watching it unfold from this distance away. So best wishes to anyone impacted by that. Hope you're doing okay. But here we have an update from Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio covering 3 names. He notes that Saraya and Swerve Strickland were sick. They couldn't make the show due to illness. No word on what they're suffering from. That's entirely their business, so leave that alone. Kenny Omega, on the other hand, he lives in Florida and couldn't travel to Chicago for the show. There was some fear around the entire thing that the Florida-based wrestlers wouldn't be able to make it to Chicago because of the hurricane's path and all of that stuff. Kenny Omega was one of those people. That's why he wasn't on the show. It's noted that Chris Jericho, who also lives in Florida, he made it to Dynamite this week. So there was some fear over him potentially not being able to make it, but he was able to. Kenny obviously not. Dave noted as well that the show was completely redone at the last minute. So if Dynamite this week felt thrown together, it's because it was. They had these unforeseen circumstances they had to deal with. We should mention as well that Khan had previously told wrestlers that if they wanted to attend Bray Wyatt Wyndham Rotunda's memorial services, they'd be given that night off as well. So, yeah, lots of reasons potentially for people missing this week's episode of Dynamite. It's been a chaotic week in the world of AEW, but hey, when is it not? And speaking of that chaos, there he goes. Right, let's wrap up a bunch of CM Punk stories in one, kind of like we did yesterday. There's been a bunch of updates on this, and it's an ever-evolving situation, particularly with All Out taking place this weekend. We'll start with Fightful. They've reported that CM Punk and Miro, they've been in contact since their jokey non-argument that got totally blown out of proportion, it seems. They note as well that AEW has been collecting statements, witness statements, regarding what happened between Jack Perry and CM Punk at All In, which caused this whole kerfuffle in the first place. It's noted, interestingly, that there is actually footage of the incident, as there are cameras all over Wembley Stadium. You'd imagine this would make things a little bit easier for those conducting the investigation, because if you can see what happened on camera, that's pretty blooming conclusive. It's noted that there was an interaction between Tony Khan and CM Punk at All In. It was described as contentious, but there's no further context. And they note as well, if just in case it needs to be said, that it's not a work, that this actually happened. I don't know, some people will insist that everything's a work. It's pro wrestling, it's just what happens. But as of right now, nah, it's not. Maybe they'll turn it into one. Who knows? Another update here, Tony Khan on the media scrum for All Out yesterday, stating that he couldn't comment on Punk's status because the investigation is still ongoing, and he'd like to comment a little bit more, but he can't right now. Regarding whether or not Punk will be on All Out, Tony said that fans will know before the show. So you'll know if he's going to be on it or if he isn't before you pay your money, which is a good move. Tony said he hoped to be able to speak on it by then, but didn't promise to do so. So maybe they'll update in a little bit of a different way. Also, he couldn't comment on whether or not he had words with Punk. It's good that people are asking these questions during the media scrum, but obviously when an investigation's going on, you can't compromise that by running your mouth about it. So, he has to show a bit of discretion there. PW Insider reporting that there were representatives conducting interviews about the incident during this week's episode of Dynamite. And over at House of Wrestling, Nick Hausman reporting that there have been no direct communications between Tony Khan and CM Punk since the incident. Currently, Punk appearing at Collision tomorrow and All Out on Sunday is very unlikely. Something could change before then, but fans should not get their hopes up. So there we are, your latest digest of Punk stuff. I'm sure there'll be more tomorrow with Gareth and Phil. Now let's roll over to our questions from the YouTube community today. Ran through 3 of them right here. The first one is from Spencer Cadlick, who asks, hello there, hello. Do you think we will see less creative freedom in AEW with all the recent backstage drama? No, would be my short answer. I don't think that any of this is really a consequence of creative freedom. I think it's a consequence of combustible personalities being allowed to combust all over each other without somebody stepping in and diffusing the situation. I think that this is a product of a management style that has allowed these situations to fester. I think that had we snuffed this out the very moment that Mr. Hangman Page cut the workers' rights promo, we could probably have avoided this whole deal. Although it's CM Punk, there would have probably been something else later down the line. But no, I don't think that we'll see a reduction in creative freedom. I don't really see what that would accomplish here. I don't think it solves any of the problems. I don't think it's the cause of any of the problems. Yes, you can argue that various things people have said on camera were not in the script, if you will, but I think those people would have done that anyway. It's CM Punk, he's a rogue. Our next question on this video comes from Connor Chameleon, who asks, hello Andy and friend. Well, he's an inflatable microphone. I don't even like him that much. He's not my friend. Anyway, what do you see as the future of the AEW Real World Championship now that CM Punk appears to be suspended? It seems like roads were leading to MJF versus Punk finally happening, but what now? I think that match is still on the cards. CM Punk, I don't think CM Punk's getting fired here. I think that there will be another chance for this man, and I think that they will endeavour to do the Real World Championship match with MJF as soon as they possibly can. Perhaps even quicker now that they know Punk could just blow up on people. Maybe he's closer to the edge, I don't know. But yeah, I still think they'll do it. I still think this is the way. Full Gear might be a good spot to aim for, but if they don't think Punk can get until that point, then maybe they'll do it sooner. They will unify those belts. MJF will go over, and it'll probably be really great because their last couple of matches were just sensational work across the board. So I don't think the plans are going to change too much. And our final question for this video comes from Alu Senpai, who would like to know, morning good people, if Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns were to retire, that's a nightmare scenario, who do you believe WWE would pick to be the future of WWE, and what dream matches would you like to see Bryan Danielson have in the future? So with regards to the future of WWE, I think Triple H would probably pick someone really vanilla like Austin Theory, unfortunately, and Vince McMahon, if he had to say, would probably just go back to Brock Lesnar. I'll tell you the people I think they should pick, right? Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, straight up megastars. Bianca's the perfect stadium wrestler, and Rhea is like the WWE TV wrestler of the year. Not just in like going beyond matches and that stuff. She's just brilliant in every single aspect of her performances. Julius Creed down in NXT, seriously impressive. In ring, just out of this world. Action-packed wrestler. He's got a bit of charisma as well. He can talk a little bit. Still putting the pieces together. But I think he is genuinely going to be the future of the company in 5 years. Michael Sidgwick's take, not mine, but I agree with it. So I'm parroting it right here. And another one, LA Knight. Look, he's 40 years old. Future is an interesting word to use in that context. But look how over he is. If Cody Rhodes were to retire tomorrow, you could 100% try and book LA Knight as your top babyface in the promotion. It would go extremely well because people love the guy and the catchphrases, and they're all great. As far as dream matches for Bryan Danielson go, man, Zack Sabre Jr., obviously, best technical wrestler in the world. Who the heck is it? Shibata's another one. But I mean, I want to see Bryan Danielson face almost anyone because he's just so bloody great. Takeshita, again, like there's just loads and loads of people across the board. It's kind of lazy. Gunther somehow. Could we make that work? Could we make that happen at some point in the future? That's probably the ultimate one for me. Gunther. Let's go with that. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me for this solo DIY ass video today. Check this one out if you like this one. I've been Andy, and I'll see you later.